Does this third-gen Toyota Tundra actually drive well down the road? Well, as a first-time driver, I've never driven a Toyota Tundra before. I figured I would share my experience with you guys and tell you what I think. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We got this Toyota Tundra with me once again today, and well, like I said, I've never actually driven one of these trucks, and I figured I would take you guys along for the ride with me kind of driving around town, tell you what I don't like, what I like, and all that fun stuff. But when I picked this truck up, we had a pretty good snowstorm up here in New Brunswick. So, well, like any good truck enthusiast with a four-wheel drive truck, had a little bit of fun in the snow. Honestly, this thing is actually pretty solid. I'm only in two-wheel drive right now, and only have all-season tires as well, no snow tires. And I'm actually surprised how planted this truck is. Normally with this kind of wet, sloppy snow, it likes to grab the truck and grab the wheel, but this thing just feels really planted. Something I was not expecting to feel out of this Toyota. So for me, just driving this thing, there's two major takeaways about this truck. The first is the engine. This twin turbocharged V6 with that very long stroke, I find just, it feels like a naturally aspirated engine just driving around town, stoplight to stoplight. There's almost no lag, and I think that's what Toyota was probably really trying to go for, and I think they nailed it. Obviously, when you step on the throttle, you can hear those turbos spool up. It's a really nice sound, actually, and then you just kind of get slungshot back into your seat. Well, first things first, let's get this thing on the highway. Let's see what this engine's all about. We'll put the foot to the floor. Oh yeah, those turbos, they kick in very nicely. You guys could, well, I don't know if you could hear them, but I could hear them. They sound actually really nice. One thing that I have noticed as I've driven this thing around town for the last couple days, and we come off the highway here, is the braking on this truck. I don't know what it is. I've driven a ton of pickup trucks. The braking just feels squishy. Maybe it's this specific truck, but I don't like the feel of the brakes. Now, on the flip side of that is acceleration. And well, when I was driving around town, this thing just, you forget it's a turbocharged engine because the turbo lag is almost non-existent. You know, when you just touch the throttle, you get that torquey acceleration or response you would like to get out of a naturally aspirated engine. And this thing feels extremely similar, which is good. So we'll jump back on the highway here and we'll do another pull to the floor. Woo! Holy, this thing has some pep to her step, and those turbos, they spool up quick and they just kind of snap your neck back a little bit. I know I said when you're around town, you kind of forget you're driving a twin turbocharged engine. When you put your foot down, not only can you hear those turbos, you can feel them just kind of suck you back, and they become very evident. In terms of fuel economy, you're running about 15 liters per 100 kilometers, so the computer says. And well, that's a good mix of country driving, highway driving, as you guys saw, some acceleration, we've been in the snow, as well as a good chunk of city driving. And in the wintertime, in these colder temperatures, 15 liters per 100 kilometers, I would take all day long in a full-size pickup truck. One thing that I really like Toyota did is they put a real oil pressure gauge on the dash. This thing actually moves, which means it's actually truly reading some real-time oil pressure. Almost every other vehicle or truck I've driven is just a switch, which basically means if there's oil pressure, you're good. This thing actually gives you a real readout. What I mean by other manufacturers having an oil pressure switch, basically if there's enough oil pressure, the switch is closed and that's what you see on the dash. You just see the oil pressure gauge stay right dead center and it doesn't move. but realistically when you're driving the vehicle, oil pressure goes up, it goes down, and so technically it's not a real oil pressure gauge, it's an oil pressure switch, which I just would rather have a real gauge giving the driver real oil pressure feedback because, well, oil pressure is extremely critical to any internal combustion engine. And secondly, guys, I ranted and raved about it, was the suspension, the ride quality. On these 3rd gen trucks, Toyota ditched the leaf springs in the back, they went with coils, kind of like what Ram's done, and in favor of ride quality, and it has made a tremendous difference. I'm not joking around. This thing was incredibly smooth going over those bumpy roads. You know, I've driven a Ram Rebel. I own a Ram 2500 Power Wagon with quote unquote, you know, specifically designed off-road suspension. And I've driven that road with my Power Wagon and it freaking rattles your jaw loose. This thing was just calm, cool, collected. It kind of would just, you know, floated over those bumps. Very, very interesting. I would love to get my hands on a TRD Pro. I think that'd be really, really cool. I mean, I always thought these trucks sat very low and I just thought maybe there wouldn't be that much suspension travel, but yeah, the ride quality shocked me and really, really impressed with that. It is. Now this is just a mid-tier truck, it's nothing special, but the suspension is honestly really, really nice. We're going down just a river road here. It is quite bumpy, it shakes the hell out of my Power Wagon, but this thing just soaks it up so nicely. And it's something I just was not expecting out of this Tundra, is the ride quality. This road, it probably doesn't pick it up on camera, is very bumpy. And I mean, this truck just doesn't bottom out. Like my Power Wagon, again, just bounces around on here. All right, I'm on my fuel economy run. This road is so bumpy normally, but I am actually amazed at how well this truck just soaks up the bumps. Like, I would be really, really, really interested to see what the TRD Pro truck feels like on roads like this, because this just normal mid-tier truck is phenomenal. Like, and I'm not making this up. I am actually really, really, really impressed with the suspension on this thing. Those rear coils must do quite the works. Anyways, had to tell you guys that. Ride quality, in my opinion, 10 out of 10. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm full of crap, or do you guys really like the ride quality in these trucks as well? All right, we're in the Ford. The F-150 can confirm that Toyota is a much smoother ride down the same road. We're doing our fuel economy test comparison. This F-150, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good riding truck, but it is not as smooth as that Toyota. Holy, she's bumpy. She is bumpy, and that Toyota, I am just so impressed how well it's soaked up this bumpy road. Overall, and I think to no one's surprise, given Toyota's track record with their trucks, it feels and handles like a very well-built unit. Again, these trucks are relatively new. Only time will tell to reveal, you know, kind of the issues, the kinks, and hopefully Toyota will continue to work on this platform to iron those out as they come, because as I always say, no truck is perfect, no engine is perfect, and there will be bumps along the road. But so far, I really, really enjoyed my time with this Toyota Tundra, and overall was pretty impressed with the platform as a whole. As always, guys, if you did like the video, don't forget to leave that thumbs up, and if you like cool stuff like this, don't forget to subscribe. We always do have some cool stuff planned ahead, and we'd love to have you guys on board. Anyways, enough of me. We'll see you on the next freaking video.